Can you be downgraded on a flight? 1. I was asked for a downgrade from business class once on the domestic leg of an international flight due to some bureaucrats who needed to travel with the secretary of some ministry. I was quite helpful in the process as there's really not much the staff can do in these situations. They moved me to economy and the service was at the business class level as well as the leg room since it was the front seat, which had extra space for people who physically needed it. An airport executive of the airline greeted and escorted me to the business class lounge before my international flight while thanking me quite a few times on the way. Normally the flight would earn me 600 miles on the domestic leg but I got 20,000 miles. A couple months later I booked an international economy flight and was immediately called by the airline for a free upgrade to the business class. I didn't initially want it since I wasn't traveling alone, but they offered to upgrade us both, which was a pretty good way of making up the initial 1-hour inconvenience. 2. You can certainly be bumped if a higher class is oversold. I was once traveling on a string of long-haul flights, and on my last flight business class had been oversold so they pushed me down to economy. These things happen, and I tried to take it in good spirits, but when I did lose my sense of humor was after I was told to sit anywhere, when I tried to sit in an extra legroom seat in economy, and the flight attendant absolutely refused to let me sit there because I hadn't paid for an extra legroom ticket. The fact that I had paid for a business class fare cut zero ice with her. Fucking United. 3. I was downgraded from a first class ticket, $1,400 plus, to coach on US Airways, now the New American. The agent said a law enforcement officer needed my first class seat. When I gave her an argument she tried to convince me that I have never actually purchased a first class seat, rather I had purchased a coach seat. She was lying of course, which is what really pissed me off. So I had a choice, I could accept coach or not fly. I decided to fly coach. Later I filed a complaint with my credit card company. On the return flight I did speak to a ticket agent who was very helpful and went out of her way to compensate me, which pleasantly surprised me. Eventually, I got a partial refund by on my credit card. The difference between the coach seat price and the FC seat price for that day and trip. The interesting note was this was the one time I purchased travel insurance from the airline website when I bought the ticket. I suspect that they picked me to downgrade because they saw I had travel insurance. Moral of the story: never buy travel insurance from the airline. 4. Was on a flight from MIA back to LHR with BA in business class. I'm a gold card holder. Had just got settled prior to takeoff when a guy comes up and tells me I'm in his seat and shows me his boarding card which had the same seat number on it as mine. He looked furious and asked me move while muttering under his breath about bloody BA, never again, and insisted that I get out of his seat. I called the cabin staff over who looked mystified until the gate agent suddenly appeared telling everyone that they had downgraded him from first and allocated him my seat. There was a slightly awkward and very British silence so I thought I'd try my luck not liking the idea of 10 hours in economy and I stuck to my guns and refused to move. When they carried on talking at me I picked up my paper and started reading it. When they offered my money I ignored them. When they tried to shame me into compliance as I was keeping the flight on the ground I continued to ignore them. When they threatened to get me off the flight I casually opened the BA app on my phone to my booking screen showing around 30 BA bookings and my gold status. After 5 minutes they put out the PA announcement asking for volunteers to downgrade in exchange for cash and someone took it, letting the downgraded guy to have a seat. Whilst it might seem rude of me to have done that, I might have considered moving back if they had asked me instead of telling me I had to move, and if they had offered me an upgrade on my next long haul I would have gone happily. 5. I was offered a downgrade from first class to business class on a Cathay Pacific flight. I was on an award ticket, so rather than paying $20,000 for my flight from San Francisco to Hong Kong, I paid a grand total of $75. I was given two options, either $400 cash, business class to Hong Kong, and a one-class upgrade voucher for any flight on their system to be used within 6 months. The alternative was $400 cash, next day flight in first class, hotel voucher for the night, and a one-class upgrade voucher for any flight on their system to be used within 6 months. I took the latter option since I wanted to originally be on that flight, but couldn't due to it being sold out. I'm not sure how they eventually ended up accommodating me, but I didn't question them too much on that. Net result of the downgrade, I made $325 and saved some miles for my next trip where I booked in business and upgraded to first. Ironically, on the next flight, for some reason my bags didn't make it, so Cathay Pacific offered a further $250 compensation to purchase whatever I needed for the 12 hours my bags were delayed.